Hello guys, let's continue with the presentation of the RadCORE project. In the previous video, we started the demonstration of the message display process that RadCORE offers and means of direct conversion of UNIGUI standard instructions, VCL standard to RadCORE standard. Well, now we're going to open another demo here, Demo Brazil, which we've also had contact with before, and we're going to demonstrate now one of the options that come with the demo, which is demo messages, and we'll see how it works. Demo messages brings all the message display patterns that RadCORE offers. Okay, so let's do a refresh of our Mega Demo application. Okay, and let's go here, Mega Demo, several examples, and let's go here to the example of messages. Okay, this example, guys, it's going to bring us two great features of RadCORE. Okay, the display of messages, and also an example of the dynamic alignment process. That's a subject for a future video. We're going to focus on the issue of message display. Well, as you can see, RadCORE is going to bring a lot of ways for us to view messages. So let's start where we left off, with the show message. So I'm going to grab here the show message right off the bat. I'm going to click here on the success button and we're going to see a very different pattern. So you see here that we've got an animation, a lot. The batch, it's an animation file that's used a lot because it offers us a layout resource, a very cool visual resource for our client who's going to receive these messages is to be really interested in your application, so this example that accompanies such a RadCORE. I'm pointing here to a file that is downloaded directly from the website of the Lotify files, or it's an our show message here. Let's open our code for you to observe it's the same the show message statement that we're working on, only that. Here I'm passing a parameter to it with the batch file. Okay, it's to be able to display the message, so a single function of RadCORE will provide us with several ways to display message, so as we've seen initially. Okay, let's continue, so we have the batch file. Such is the show info that we took a first look at the previous video, the show warning, the show error, such with some options that you can customize. Okay, and we move on now to the show switch alert, which is UNIGUI's own standard, but the RadCORE brings. Okay, so I'm going to have my success, such as the info warning, the error question, so I can bring here the return, right, of my question. The cool thing about Show Switch Alert is that it comes prepared for you to be able to focus on Switch Alert's return. It comes all customized for this, so you don't have to work. UNIGUI allows this by default, but you have to make a customization in each form you work on. Not inside RadCORE. You'll be able to pass the focus you want from the Switch Alert return directly into the instruction in any form, will bring you a greater benefit and less coding. The toaster show, which we also saw just now, here we will bring all the variants, message positioning and the option to include a sound. Okay. So we have these options, all functions that you will be able to use in such a very simple way. It is within the RadCORE such, so you will simply have a show toaster instruction and it will pass the parameters is what you want is to use. Okay, well, let's continue such and such. Let's see here the show input box. The show input box, it is similar to our show message, is only that it has some variants, so I can request confirmation here, in this case here a show input box question, and then get the return here and process. Another situation and finally give an answer, then I can use my show input box to input information. I can make a change and ask it to do password input. I can make it input from a date period. Imagine that you want to do a processing and the client will have to choose a date, so you can already use this hardcore resource already containing this ready here without having to create a resource of this nature. There is also an example of processing. I can perform a processing and bring a return. All of these here are examples available within RadCORE. The show input box custom is another variant, the custom that I can, at runtime, create components that are inserted inside a message that will be displayed to the client. That is, this form does not exist by default with these fields, with label, with edit. They are created dynamically, including dynamic validation features that we have also seen before. Right, how it works. Okay, so there are several configurations. Okay, so I can enter with my input box, password, so I can enter with dates, I can enter with a selection of options via radio. Group OK, so I selected an item here, it will give me the feedback, which is the item I selected, all in a dynamic way. So for example here to quickly demonstrate the custom input, I entered 3 options, I ran my show input custom and got here the my return. What was the option that I selected? OK, so within this rule you will be able to create your input box with any type of component inside it, so I can make several selections. It will tell me what I selected to dogfish, item 1 and 3. OK, I can create a form system and make several simultaneous selections. So, these are the resources that RadCORE will offer you in various ways for you to create resources that your application may need. These features of input box will definitely greatly reduce coding within a project. We also have show ride. It allows us to work with a panel. This panel you will have it is common in applications, especially VCL. You have a panel inside your form that it is hidden and you want to display it at some point, then hide it again. So ShowRide, the cool thing about it, is that it's going to come as a modal. It's a panel, it's not a form, but RadCORE is going to define a modal area for it. So it's very similar to the standard HTML modal, only here you're going to have a whole much simpler control without having to use HTML, and I can still run one inside the other, so you can do a stacking of messages and all with this animated effect. It's an interesting feature of the show ride is that you can, for example, let's do here our demo, so-and-so, I've got here, oh, my pane, so-and-so, so it's nothing more than a panel. Okay, so I've got my panel, and the name of it, imagine that you added this pane within your project, so-and-so, you gave it a name, okay, and then I'm going to take it here, just as a demonstration. Okay, guys, I'm going to take it here, oh, I'm going to put another button here, imagine that you want to activate this panel. Okay, so Just you. In the click of your button, you put the name of the panel you want to call, the show ride, you select that name and let's go once again. Here's our RC codex. Okay, so inside the RC codex, what are you going to do? I'm going to come here, it's no insert RC functions, okay, and I'm going to put it here, call to RC showride, so it's simply going to convert the name that you previously marked and it's going to insert the full function of calling the showride, okay, this function guys, it has double, it's double sense, right? Double is double functionality, the same function, it's used to display and the same function is used to hide. Okay, so in the example that we have here on the screen, such when I have my center here, I'm making the call to my show RAID switch, and when I click switch and switch on my close button simply have the same call, so you don't have a double code information. That code, it's not automated because normally the close button of our module is going to be inside the module itself and the call is going to be out, so we have to make a double call to this function beauty, so I'm just going to eliminate this from here so as not to disturb the future demonstration, and we'll come back here to conclude. Well, we also have a function that is a very well-known JavaScript standard, right? It's iGrow, okay, but within RadCORE you'll also be able to make message calls like this, using iGrow, okay, so all of this here is available to you, okay, and finally we're going to get the show message that we saw here, initial, okay. It also allows you to do a different alignment, okay, so by default the show message, it always appears centered on the screen, but I can align it to the top, I can align it to the right, I can align it to the left and I can display it coming from the base, okay. So there are some variants that you have of all the possibilities that we have within RadCORE to work with messages, okay. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time.